welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my summer TBR, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I am being very ambitious. The person that made this list, me, in the past, was very ambitious with our TBR. There are so many books on this list. I've taken a few off because I'm like, Bethany, are you okay? Like, I put so many books on here that I know I will not be able to get to all of them, but I'm just gonna tell you all of them. So I have so many books on my TBR, and we have some sections. First, I have some books on my physical TBR that I wanna read. I have a couple books I borrowed from the library that I wanna read. I have some new releases that I wanna read, and then I have books that I just don't own that I wanna read. So let's just get into it. Also, the sun's kind of like in and out today, so we're just gonna deal with it. I also looked up a little bit of the summary of all of these, so I'm not saying, hey, I don't know what this is about and move on. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of the summary, like very tiny details that I got from a little bit of a brief read through of the summary because I don't like to know much before I read a book. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? Also, I did a video on my summer book recs and I'll link it below if you wanna watch it. First, I have a couple of summer books on my physical TBR that I got last summer and I need to read them. Like, at this point, I need to read them. If I don't read them this summer, I need to get rid of them. So first is Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. The female main character spends a summer on Martha's Vineyard and meets a bookworm. So the guy's a bookworm instead of the girl, but I have kind of heard mixed reviews, so I think it's also contributed to why I haven't read it. I think also one of the main characters is dyslexic, so the font is like for people that have dyslexia can read better or read easier, which is really cool. I love that. Also, I think she's tasked with chaperoning her half brother, and I think there's like a sibling relationship there. So anyways, want to read this. And then The Summer Job by Lizzie Dent, and this is about a girl who ends up getting a job at a winery in the Scottish Highlands. She's basically pretending to be her best friend. Like, her best friend got the job and she's like pretending to do the job instead of her best friend. I don't really know. It looks very short. So I'm like, I need to read this, and it also sounds really good. I just have not read it. So I'd like to read this summer. If I don't, I need to get rid of them. Okay. And then I will just share the books that I have from the library because these are also like top of my TBR, and that is the Love and Gelato. I don't know what series this is, but it's by Jenna Evans Welch, and it's Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and then the last one, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it on the screen, but these are basically just like YA summer romances. The first one takes place in Tuscany, and the second one takes place in Ireland, and the third one takes place in Greece. And they're just like fun YA summer romances. I have like 70 pages into the first one, and I just really want to read these this summer. That's why I borrowed them from the library. And then recently at my work, I work at a library, I got a few ARCs that some of them come out in July. One of them I think is already out. So I really want to read these this summer, so I'll just go over them really quick. I showed them in a recent vlog, most of them, so I'll just show them really quick. First is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. She wrote The Wishing Game, and this is like, it's inspired by C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, which don't know much about, but I have heard such good things about The Wishing Game, so I really want to read this by, like, it comes out July 16th, so I'd like to read it before then. We shall see. That probably won't happen, but my hope is to read these before they release. Then Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. This is her adult debut, and it's about two best friends. This tells the humorous and heartbreaking love story of best friends Shiloh and Carrie from their inseparable teen years to their far-flung adulthoods as they try to figure out what the relationship is, where it went wrong, and how to finally make it right. It's like a second chance best friends lovers, childhood friends lovers. I don't know, it sounds really good. Then I have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is like a cottagecore fantasy, like a cottagecore romance, like a cozy fantasy. It sounds really, really good too. And then I got this one the other day because I think someone brought it back. I don't really know because it came out in June, but it is Such a Bad Influence by Olivia Minter, who is one of the hosts of the Bad on Paper podcast. And I don't know what this is about really. I think it's about an influencer. It says a razor sharp debut about what happens when one of the first child stars of the social media age grows up and goes missing, which sounds really, really good. I've heard such good reviews of this book, and I love the podcast that she's on, so I'm very excited to read this. Like, when I saw it on the table, I grabbed it. So those are the books that I want to read, and I'm gonna be honest, the rest of them I do not own, so you're gonna get very comfortable seeing a cover on the screen. So let's go back to my phone, and we are going to start with the new releases. I have quite a few, and honestly, when I first made this list, I hadn't got any of these books as ARCs, but now I have gotten them as ARCs and read a few of them. But for the sake of this video that I made this list and made the TBR and they come out in the next couple months, I'm just gonna put them on the screen, even if I have read them. So first is Business Casual by B.K. Boris, and this is the last book in the Love Light series, and it's like Golden Retriever Black Cat. This is one of the ones I have read, and I love the Love Light series. So, and then The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. This is a second chance romance, and I think it takes place in California, I don't know what it's called, but a winery area, and I have not read this, and I'm very, very excited for this book. I do have an ARC of it, and I cannot wait to read it. Then Play Along by Liz Tomford. I cannot wait for this book. This is the fourth book in the Windy City series, and it's a baseball romance and a accidental marriage or something like that, marriage of convenience. Cannot wait for this book. Then we have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I am currently reading this right now, and it is a magical realism about this girl who ends up in her favorite fictional town. So that's very fun. I did not do these in like publication order because I just wrote them down as I thought of them. So anyways, next is Daydream by Hannah Grace, and I did get an arc of this and already read it. Cannot believe that, but it comes out in August, and I just need to talk about it because it was on this list and it's about Henry. So if you've read Hannah Grace's books, you know who Henry is and you're very excited for it. So next is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This comes out in a couple weeks and it's the second book after Powerless. Cannot wait for this book to come out. I'm so excited. It's a YA fantasy trilogy. Next is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book after Fangirl Down, and it's a hockey romance nanny trope, single dad nanny trope, and I did get an arc of this. I haven't read the book yet. I've read like a couple chapters, but I haven't finished it. So very excited to read this as well. Next is Where Happiness Begins by N.S. Perkins. This is her new release that comes out in August. Very excited for this. It's the third book in the series with Where Time Stands Still and Where We Belong, so I'm very excited. She writes very emotional romances, but I feel like they are so good. And I think this one is engagement or marriage or accidental engagement. I don't really know. One of those. There's a ring on the cover, so one of those. Then But He's My Roommate by Anna Conwell. This is the fourth book in the Carter Brothers series and the last book, and I'm so excited. It's Curly Roommates to Lovers. Very excited for it. It's closed door. Then the Falling for Summer series, which is a closed door romance summer series. There's a lot of them. I don't know where they're on the screen, but there's a lot of them. There's 7 books. They come out, like one comes out each week for like 7 weeks, and they are all like different stories, but they all like take place in the same like universe. So I know there's a golf romance is the first one, and the second one is like billionaire assistant, and I think there might be like a secret author. I don't really know. I didn't read all of them, but very excited to read these. I don't think I've read any of these authors, but they are closed door summer romances if you're looking for that. And then Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles is the second book in the Sparrow Falls series after Fragile Sanctuary. Very excited for this. It's Sports Proximity, roommates, golden retriever, like cinnamon roll. Well, my character. Very excited for that. Those are all of the new releases that I am very excited for. I hope I didn't forget any. And now we are going to get to the books that I want to read that I don't own physical copies of. So a lot of these are like summery vibes, and I actually saw them at my local bookstore. I just like saw the covers. They looked really cute, and I put them on this list. I actually requested a few of these from the library, and they all came up at once, but I wasn't ready for them, so I like pushed it back a week. So hopefully I will read these in the next couple months. First is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I'm actually very excited for this book. I didn't want to read it, but then I saw the cover and people have been really enjoying it. So I think I want to read this, and it is a like tropical vibes, marriage of convenience situation. I don't really know, but I've heard really good things. So I want to read that. Next is Wild About You by Caitlin Hill. This is a YA summer romance, and I think there's something about a reality show. I don't really know, but she wrote a couple other books. I think this might be like a second in a series, but it sounds really good, and I haven't read any of her books, but I've heard that they're really good. My friend Allie loves them. So next is Summer After Summer by Lauren Bailey, and this is a second chance romance that takes place in the Hamptons, which sounds really good. I haven't heard anything about this book, but the cover just screams summer vibes. I love a second chance romance. So next is Summertime Punchline by Betty Carrillo. It's set in the Jersey Shore, and it's a second chance romance as well, and the cover is giving like carnival vibes. I think she's a comedian, so it sounds really good as well. Haven't heard anything about this either, so I'm very excited. And then Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rundell. This is about 2 main characters who spend every Friday together in the summer, and they like explore New York City, which sounds right up my alley. I love New York City. I love summer vibes, and the cover is so cute. 7 Summers by Paige Toon. This I think is a very emotional romance, and it's about this girl, and she like spends like multiple summers together with this guy. Like they like had a thing or something, and then they decide to spend every summer together if they are single. And then I think she comes back and she meets this guy, a different guy, and then you're just following him. I don't really know, but one of my friends on Bookstagram raves about this book, so put it on the list. Next is Float by Kate Marchant, and this is a YA summer romance, and it's about this girl who moves from Alaska to Florida to live with her aunt, and I think it's just like a summer romance, YA, probably meets a guy, you know, that kind of vibe, and it sounds really good. Next is One Last Shot by Betty Kayette. I don't know how to say that. It's about a supermodel and a photographer, and it's set in Italy, so it's giving summer vibes, and it sounds really good. I haven't heard any reviews on that one as well, which I kind of like, not knowing anything beforehand, especially if I'm gonna borrow it from the library, because it's like always exciting to see if I like it, and instead of like if I buy a book and don't like it, that's kind of disappointing. But if I borrowed from the library, I didn't lose any money. You know what I mean? Next is Love at First Book by Jen McKinley, and this is about a librarian who moves to like an Irish village, and she, like, her favorite author lives there, and then she meets her favorite author's son, which sounds really good. And then The Ministry of Time by Kalaine. I don't know, Bradley, and this is a like time travel romance. I don't really know, but I've heard such good things about this book, so want to give this a try, see how I like it. Lastly is Snow Globe by Se-young Park. This is the only like non-romance book, or besides The Ministry of Time, that I have, and it's basically about like a dystopian like fantasy world where it's like they're in constant winter, and the only place that it's like warm is this climate controlled environment or like city called the Snow Globe. And it sounds really, really good. Like I saw it at my Books A Million the other day, and I really want to buy it because it sounds so good. Like I love that premise. It sounds really interesting. So these are all the books that I want to read this summer. We will see what I get to, but I want to try. These are the books that I would like to at least try to read. So I hope you enjoyed. I would love to know what you want to read this summer book recs, all the stuff, leave it below. And I think that's it. So I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye.